welcome to the third video blog in the series Digital Transformation in the Age of AI. My name is Andrew Muir, Senior Director at Avanade and the Azure Cloud Lead for our Asia Pacific region. In this podcast, we will be discussing how GenAI is effectively being used by Avanade and our clients to accelerate the software development process and how we have enabled some key use cases. This podcast is a little out of sequence, but I wanted to take advantage of the outputs from GitHub Universe and Microsoft Ignite conferences and speak to some colleagues on a topic that has generated a lot of interest and is starting to show some real benefits for our clients, whether small or large. I'm pleased to introduce Ben Leane, until recently Avanade's Modern Apps Lead for Asia Pacific. As part of his role, Ben works closely with software development teams across industries on how to adopt AI engineering and AI dev practices. He also leads our GitHub partnership within APAC and has helped roll out GitHub Copilot across the Avanade internal community. So thanks for taking your time to meet with us, Ben. There's been a lot of talk about AI assistants and their AI pair programming this year. What are you seeing in this space and what are some of the trends worth watching?
Thanks, Andrew. It's been a really exciting year and just over a year since we saw the GitHub Copilot come to the market. It was the original AI pair programmer tool, and we've seen a few others launch since then, but the whole world has been in an experimenting mode, mostly with buy versus build here. They are buying Copilot and pre-existing tools that can help them get some immediate runs on the board and wins in this space. They're looking for productivity, they're looking for quality improvements, and they're experimenting. They have a lot of those companies having really good success straight out of the gates. The early adopters that have been doing this for a year now, they're starting to look for more. They're looking at how can we go beyond what's in the box, augmenting with custom tooling, things like Azure OpenAI and the GPT models that are available there, so that they can get a better range of benefits and impacts across the full software development lifecycle. So interesting to watch them sort of branch out and do more, but at the same time, the original tools like Copilot, they're learning fast, and we're seeing incredible pace of feature release and capabilities that are coming from each of them.
Thanks, Ben. And now let's bring in another of our Avanade colleagues, Alvin Vinalon. Alvin is part of the Avanade Australia Apps and Infra team, originally based in Manila with Accenture in the Philippines. Alvin now lives in Australia and transitioned from Accenture to Avanade in 2017. He's currently leading Avanade's GenAI for SDLC community, a dynamic and emerging group focused on advancing innovation with generative AI, particularly GitHub Copilot. This community provides a platform for members to deepen their understanding and expertise in GitHub's AI-based technologies, share best practices, discuss challenges, and explore new applications. So thanks for joining us, Alvin, and following on from what Ben was saying, what are some keys to getting a lasting adoption benefits from these tools?
Well, thanks, Andrew. So first of all, when we introduce this internally, there's a few bit of hesitation because the traditional developers think that I don't need this and I can do my job without it, but giving them the opportunity to experiment and see it exactly in action, that's when they realize that, okay, this is a game changer for me. It's saving me a lot of hours, typing boilerplate codes and things like that. So I guess for me, it's a matter of convincing the developers to get onboarded and let them see exactly what this tool can help out. So it's not designed to technically replace them. It's designed to make them more productive and eventually save them some time and focus on more important stuff to do. In order for these community of developers to be, to embrace this technology, we do offer a lot of guidance on these because it's similar to, a really simple analogy of two developers going to the office. One is walking, the other one is taking the tram. So obviously, the The other one taking the tram might arrive 10 minutes early, have coffee. So that's what we normally use as an analogy there. It's not about really, go getting more delivered, but getting more time to actually focus on the most important stuff. So we also try and survey them, make sure they provide feedback that, yep, this really helped me a lot, and get their sentiments, instead of just leaving the developers use it nilly-willy. So obviously we still need to measure the impact of these productivity, or the impact of these AI tools in terms of productivity. So we're not looking at just cost cutting. We're also looking at emphasizing the positives around delivering more in each release, focusing on creative work. And then in the long run, they will also learn new skills on it, because it's generative AI can technically teach you, literally teach you how to code on other languages, just like what it did to me. I learned Python just by using GitHub Copilot. I didn't attend or register to any classroom for Python. It's all GitHub Copilot, which I still use daily.
Well, thanks, and I think these positives are really, really important. And what would you say are some of the lesser known benefits that businesses are actually seeing in using these tools for, and what are they achieving?
Well, the lesser known benefit is, because this is generative AI at its core, it's not just good in coding, it's also good in documenting, writing unit tests. As a matter of fact, I've been using GitHub Copilot for creating design documents for a client, obviously using Markdown as the initial draft, and then I just move it to an official format like Word. But because it can generate technical documentation due to its large volume of training data set, can help me in anything, can help me in infrastructure as code, strategy in DevOps, CI/CD pipelines. It's like ChatGPT inside your code editor, which is, I think most people doesn't realize that it's there, and they just think GitHub Copilot just produces code. So that's not the case. It can even generate diagrams for you. Well, diagrams in terms of text definition, and then it will render as a diagram. And yeah, it's there's a lot of use cases here. In my recent engagement with a client, I taught them how to write user stories. So they have a very vague requirement. I showed them, I prompted GitHub Copilot chat, this is the requirement, generate a user story for this one, and then generated the actual user story complete with acceptance criteria. And imagine the time you save just thinking about how to write those, and in just 10 seconds, you got what you need. Obviously, you still need to review and tweak it, because as what we say, we trust but verify. We don't always just
Yeah.
use whatever the AI produces.
Thanks. So clearly, there are significant benefits that organizations can accrue from these new tools, and especially GitHub Copilot. But what about the expectations of developers and their management? There's a lot of hype around AI, so are people being realistic in what can currently be achieved?
Yeah, that's a good point there, Andrew. During my previous interactions with several of our clients, like a large telecom company and a retail company, I spoke to some of the developers there, and they really have high expectations. And I think this is because a lot of YouTube videos and also articles are over marketing this AI tool, like producing video of one prompt, one shot prompt, and then the AI will develop an entire application for them. And that's not how GitHub Copilot is designed, right? So I usually make sure that they understand that this is a productivity tool, an assistant, a co-pilot. It's not a pilot. So you still drive as a developer the way, the direction of your feature will go. And that's what we normally provide in terms of educating the developers on what to expect, right? They will expect you to provide really good context so that you can receive really good response. If you just put some vague comments in there, don't expect also an entire application built from scratch. So we there is some boundary to set in terms of expectations on what this can do, but we don't know. With the pace of how GitHub actually innovates this, with the recent releases of their new features in VS Code, like Copilot edits, it actually now edits the code for you rather than you copy and pasting or moving code. And those are just the things that will make the developers' lives more easier. Again, it's not to replace them, but to actually save time because these are boilerplate codes. You do it a lot of times, and then the AI will just repeat it for you with the available context.
Thanks, Alvin. Some great insights and greatly appreciate your time. Now, stepping back to Ben, what do you think we should be expecting from the year ahead? Alvin has said the tools are not replacing developers, but do we see this as a possibility in the near future?
Well, the pace of innovation is massive. The tools are and the products on the market are changing at an almost weekly basis, but they're not there yet. If we look at what we've seen in the last month as we went through both GitHub Universe and Microsoft Ignite have happened just recently, and you've seen those companies launch an even more powerful set of tooling that is designed to just do more across the entire software lifecycle. So, as Alvin said, it went from a code assist tool to a development assist tool. So you're going to see it help you out with a range of tasks that will get you deeper productivity increases, will change the nature of a role for a software developer more. But we are years away from any attempt at replacing, and no one really knows whether AI can replace entire development roles, but it will certainly unlock a lot more productivity and power from the roles that are there today.
And so, what do you think to those who are listening and watching this podcast should be doing?
Well, if you're listening to this and you haven't started your journey of introducing these new AI development practices yet, then my advice is get going. Join the wave. We've passed that part in the hype cycle where it's people are wondering, does this hold enough value for my business? The answer is yes, it does hold some value. No one would debate that now based on the numbers coming out. But the other thing we learned in the year past is you cannot just buy the licenses of tools and expect to bank the productivity gains straight away. We've heard Alvin saying that there can be some skepticism, there can be some misinformation. So you're going to need to invest a bit as you bring out the tools and pivot your team and the way they work to educating, inspiring, building these new type of communities. And that's what we're trying to do here at Avanade is we're trying to build lasting adoption with the tools to set up your development teams with these new ways of working, and also to map them back to what is really important to the C-suite and to the IT decision makers, the KPIs, the bottom line impact that it will have on your business. So we want to leave you with that lasting benefit, and also the proof of it is our mission.
Well, thank you, Ben, and thanks also to you, Alvin. And I look forward to hosting you both again in the future as we look further into the benefits of GenAI to development communities, but also as we look at how AI can be used within applications, as we look at GenAI infused applications. Thank you to you all online for tuning in, and I hope you find the insights from Ben and Alvin useful. In our next episode, we will investigate what it is you need to do in your IT environments to be able to leverage AI. How do you make sure that your cloud platform is prepared? And what services do you need to enable in order to establish the AI infrastructure baseline to enable your development teams? Till next time, as always, stay safe.